Threat level white is what happens when the SCP danger scale finally decides to be nice to you for once. Instead of run for your life, white is more you're safe. But this is still weird, so don't lick it. It's the level the Foundation slaps on strange anomalies. Yes, but more helpful than harmful if you use them right. Now treat the whole danger chart like a playlist. Black is that one cursed track that ruins the mood. Red is pure panic. Orange is loud and stressful. White is the cozy song you loop while cleaning your room. It's still part of the SCP world, but this one lets your nervous system take a tiny break. Low-key, it's the closest thing the Foundation has to a wellness feature. Which is funny, because it lives 3 floors below ground, surrounded by people who haven't slept since Monday. A white-level anomaly might calm people down when they touch it, or gently pull someone's mood from "I hate everything" to "Okay, I can deal." It could be a glowing stone that makes plants grow faster, a blob that makes you laugh until your brain stops doom-scrolling, or a room that always smells like fresh rain after a terrible day. No exploding buildings, no mind control, just weirdly wholesome side effects. And the staff, they secretly love these. In a site full of nightmares, a white tag SCP is like free therapy without the paperwork. You know that feeling when the group chat is all drama, and suddenly one friend drops a meme so good everyone forgets why they were mad? That friend is threat level white. But the Foundation still stays serious about it. There are procedures, cameras, keycards, the whole package. Not because white anomalies are dangerous, but because in this universe, the moment someone says, "relax, nothing can go wrong," something usually does somewhere else. So if you ever scroll past a file labeled threat level white, that's the rare good news. It means, out of all the monsters, glitches, and reality-breaking nonsense, this is one of the few things that might actually make you feel better instead of worse. Threat level blue sits on the SCP Foundation's danger chart like a middle row of bright blue tiles. Not harmless, not world-ending, but definitely marked as do not ignore. In this tier, an anomaly can hit hard inside a single room, hallway or test chamber, while the rest of the world keeps moving like nothing happened. Control rooms show this level as a blue bar on screens, glowing between calm white sections and harsh bands of orange and red above it. Staff staring at that screen can match the color with specific doors in the facility and remember stories tied to each one. A classic blue example is SCP-207, a simple crate of glass bottles filled with a dark soda that looks cheap and normal on camera. In test videos, a subject drinks one bottle under bright lab lights, wires taped to arms and chest to track every heartbeat. Minutes later, the subject runs down a marked track with unreal speed, shoes slamming the floor while timers on tablets count impossible numbers. Muscles flex too fast, veins stand out on skin, and lab coats on the sidelines trade quick glances as monitors spike higher. By the end of the test, the sprinting figure slows, grips the rail of the treadmill, and sinks onto a medical bed while machines beep in sharp, nervous patterns. The walls stay standing, the cameras stay on, but the cost of one blue bottle is written across that exhausted body. Around blue chambers like this, new details slowly cover the space after every test. Warning tape wraps around rails. New signs appear beside keypads, and extra cameras hang above doors that once looked ordinary. Medical logs list strained muscles, racing hearts, and short hospital stays connected to test numbers and timestamps. Repair crews patch floor tiles, replace cables, and roll equipment carts back into neat rows after each trial. On a training poster in the break room, photos of tape lines, damaged machines, and tired test subjects sit under a single caption naming threat level blue, placed between a row of white examples and a row of orange and red disasters. Threat level green is where an SCP stops being a minor inconvenience and becomes the kind of problem that ruins one person's day while the rest of the site keeps working like normal. Instead of sitting with the friendly, low-risk anomalies, green holds the middle of the chart with clear "this is not a side quest anymore" energy. In the briefing room, the screen shows one row of room numbers glowing in green. People around the table lean in. Everyone knows those rooms are where sloppy moves turn into injuries, not jokes. Down in a green sector, the hallway looks like safety tried to cosplay as a racing game. Floor lines pull eyes toward a door with a bright green plate. Warning signs pack the wall like a collage of red flags a body. A heart, lungs, each with simple arrows. Cameras hang overhead and track the entrance like a stream locked on one chaotic player. And a status light above the frame glows non-stop like an unread notification. Guards linger nearby with armor ready, and scientists heading in grip their tablets and slow down before swiping a badge. SCP-1025 is peak green energy. It's just a thick book on a metal table in a glass room, shaped like a forgotten health textbook. A test subject sits under bright lights with wires taped to chest and arms, opens to a page on one disease, and traces the list of symptoms. Minutes later, sweat forms, breathing shifts, and the heart monitor spikes. The room stays still, the glass never cracks, and the hallway outside stays normal. All the chaos sits inside one body and one file. That is threat level green. No explosions. Just a hit strong enough to make anyone who reads the report decide they never want that assignment. Threat level yellow. Threat level yellow is the point on the SCP danger scale where an anomaly stops being a background problem and joins the "this can absolutely break bones today" league. Yellow sits in the zone where the Foundation can still keep the mess inside a few rooms. But the price hits hard whenever someone gets sloppy. It is the moment in a shift when the mood flips from chill small talk to people standing a little straighter. Because this is the level where one bad decision stops being training slide material and turns into a scene people remember for years. Yellow rarely starts as a neat bar on a status screen. It usually arrives as noise and motion. Sirens kick in. Hallway lights snap to strobe patterns. And metal doors drop with a deep soundstaff feel in their bones. Radios crackle, non-stop. Boots hit the floor in fast, sharp steps, and one stretch of corridor turns from normal traffic lane into hard stop. Only after the alarms die down does yellow flatten back into boxes and lines in a debrief room. A thick yellow band runs across a digital map, and the rooms under that color suddenly feel very familiar. Fingers trace the incident path on the screen, from one doorway to the next. Like replaying a level where everyone already knows the exact spot things went wrong. SCP-173 is a classic yellow-level example. It stands in its concrete cell like a strange art project nobody asked for. Compact and still, with painted marks where a face should be and short arms frozen forward. The room has bare walls, floor markings for allowed positions, and cameras bolted into every corner. Cleanup teams enter in groups, backs pressed to concrete, feet sliding along guidelines, and eyes locked on the statue the way players lock onto a boss that cannot move as long as the camera stays centered. When attention slips, yellow shows why it has its own stripe on the scale. Blinks fall out of sync, a gaze wavers for a fraction of a second, and the next camera frame freezes bodies on the floor and fresh cracks in the concrete. That is threat level yellow, not the end of the world, but a danger tier that can turn one ordinary room into a disaster speedrun if the humans inside treat the anomaly like set dressing instead of the main hazard. Threat level orange is the part of the SCP danger scale where an anomaly can trash whole chunks of a site and stack real injuries. But the outside world still thinks it's just another normal day. In the control room, the site map normally looks like a clean phone home screen. Calm colors, tiny icons, no stress. When a zone flips to orange, that screen suddenly feels like a lock screen packed with red badges. Thick orange bands wrap around sectors. Room numbers glow brighter. And everyone in the room quietly understands that snack break just got canceled. The briefing hits like a group project 1 hour before the deadline. Maps land on the table with the same sectors circled again and again. Highlighters carve routes through doors and corridors, marking which blast doors slam first and where response squads have to stand ready. It's just paper and markers, but the mood screams. Do this right or enjoy the aftermath. Down in the building, orange territory looks stuck on hard mode. Blast doors sit deep in heavy walls. Floor paint turns into bold arrows that push people away from danger paths. And hazard icons stack on the walls like a real-life warning sticker pack. Extra cameras and speakers hang overhead so alarms and orders can hit that area faster than any group chat ping. SCP-106 lives here. Its containment sits behind those overbuilt doors with bright corrosion plates. Inside, the chamber looks like a horror level played too many times dark stains. bolted metal patches, beams leaning just enough to make helmets tilt up. Teams walk marked lines in full gear, carrying tools built only for that one anomaly. When 106 breaches, orange stops being a color and turns into a problem. Sirens drop into low, heavy notes. Lights slam into strobe mode, and clean hallways start growing patches of rotten metal. The next version of the site map shows a fresh orange trail crawling across the layout. And everyone on that shift dodges that color the way most people dodge opening a lock screen full of bad news. Threat Level Red is the Foundation's season finale tier, the point where one SCP can turn an entire site into a disaster episode if people blink at the wrong time. Most red days don't start dramatic. Control room screens glow. People bully the office coffee, and the threat board sits in calm greens and blues like a boring desktop wallpaper. Then red hits. Thick blocks of color slam over whole sectors. Alert banners stack along the bottom, and the board suddenly looks like a phone with Instagram, TikTok, Discord, email, and the bank app all throwing notifications at once. The room goes from background chatter to quiet focus in about 3 seconds, and everyone knows the shift just stopped being normal. Down in the lower levels. That usually means one thing. It's a 682 day. SCP-682 sits in its acid tank like a grumpy dinosaur that refused to log off, huge, armored, and permanently upset with the Foundation. Catwalks circle the tank like platforms in a boss arena, packed with cameras and sensors pointed straight at it. Staff in heavy suits walk those paths along painted lines, checking monitors that might as well be stuck on 3 words alive: angry, unchanged. The flip from normal shift to red run comes fast. Readings spike, supports start to complain, and the acid suddenly looks more like green soup than a real plan. Someone triggers red protocol, and it rolls through the site like a challenge wheel spin that landed on the worst option. Doors slam in a set pattern. Access panels flip from green to red. Sirens drop into deep notes that buzz in armor plates, and alerts flood every channel like a cursed group chat. Response teams snap into their routes. Heavy weapons roll out of racks. Extra plates lock over viewing windows. And hallways that were open 10 minutes ago turn into funnels built to slow down exactly one very mad lizard. On the main displays, the site map redraws in moving clusters, following squads, sealed sections, and whatever new path 682 is trying to claw through the floor plan. By the time the alarms finally die, the site looks like the afterphoto. Fresh scorch marks stain concrete. New metal patches shine on doors, and repair carts line hallways that were clean at breakfast. Later, in the break room, nobody even says threat level red, they just drop the date. Everyone groans in sync, and that's red the tier that doesn't just ruin a day. It turns one breach into a cursed highlight reel for every new staff member. Threat level black is the very top of the SCP danger scale, the level for anomalies that can take out more than a site, more than a city, and maybe hit the whole planet with a game over screen if someone messes up. Most of the time, black is invisible. The threat board stops at red. Shifts are messy but normal, and the layout looks like a crowded dashboard that still makes sense. On the rare day black shows up, it looks wrong in a way everyone understands. It does not point to one hallway or one door. Instead, a thick dark bar appears at the top of the screen with words like global and strange project codes next to it. Most people in the room are not even allowed to open those files. Chairs stop rolling. Small talk dies out, and even the most tired staff sit up like they just saw their GPA drop in real time. SCP-2317 explains this tier better than any chart. It is a single massive door inside a lonely building. The door is heavy wood, locked into a concrete wall, wrapped in chains and steel bars. Metal plates with carved symbols ring the frame like warning labels you cannot read, but know you should respect. In front of it sits a viewing room. Cameras stare straight at the door all day and all night. Circles and lines cover the floor. Printed instructions hang on the walls and cover the desk. Stacked and taped like someone hit Save As on the same file over and over and refused to delete any version. The job there is not just watch the door. The job is follow a ritual perfectly, at exact times. A small team walks in, stands on the marks on the floor, and reads a script from the first line to the last. They bring paper copies, tablet copies, and backup copies. They move slow, speak clear, and check every sentence. Because skipping one part is treated like yanking the power cable out of the whole world. Black-level plans are written for this kind of risk. They talk about moving whole populations, closing borders, turning on self-destruct systems, and calling people whose names only show up in redacted files. Threat level black sits at the top of the scale for a simple reason: if everything works, nobody outside the Foundation ever knows how close it was. If it fails, there is no after left for anyone to complain about the paperwork.